Hi gorgeous, this is episode number 20 with your host Christine Schlonski, and you are listening to Heartsells podcast. I am so grateful you are here. I'm so grateful you are spending your time tuning into Heartsells podcast, and I'm really proud that we are already at episode 20. I hope you have gotten a lot out of it so far with all these amazing speakers and guests on the podcast sharing their wisdom, as well as Variety Friday. And today is another Variety Friday. Variety Friday is when I share resources, answer your questions, or just talk about important things around sales that I have learned in my sales career of over a decade in high-ticket event sales, over the phone, talking to general managers, CEOs, owners of companies, to sell them a very high-ticket event and to, invite them to an opportunity. So what I want to touch today is, first of all, I want to invite you to my upcoming webinar. You want to check that out at christineschlonski.com. This is also the page where you find all the show notes, all the podcast episodes, really, really cool tweetable, the transcript of the podcast. And the webinar is around the one element, the one thing that you are already doing but you are not aware of that can turn your sales around. So you do want to tune in. It's going to be amazing. I have had that webinar in the past and people just loved the value they received. So I'm inviting you to join at christineschlonski.com. So today for Variety Friday, I'm not answering a question and I'm kind of sharing a resource of how to think in a better way. And it all starts with our self-talk. So today's topic is actually self-talk. And I don't know if you're aware of the fact, but most people do have a negative self-talk going on all of the time, which does influence their outlook in life, which influences their actions, and that influences their results. So if you are struggling in an area of your life, you really want to make sure that you have a look at your self-talk to make sure that you are having a better conversation. Because I can tell you right now, you probably are sabotaging yourself and keeping yourself away from success because your self-talk is negative. So what's self-talk? Well, we are all aware of the fact that we are permanently having thoughts. And these thoughts are kind of coming in a dialogue with ourselves. Like, oh, I like that, or that's pretty, or, well, I don't know, should I be wearing these shoes today? I'm not quite sure. What kind of look was that this person just gave me? So you're having the self-talk going on, or if somebody tells you, well, we really need to talk, then what's going on in your mind? Is it like, oh, what did I do wrong? I wonder what this is about. That you're kind of having a fearful reaction, that it could be negative. Or is it like, yeah, cool. So my boss is calling me into the office. I wonder if I'm getting, my next career move presented, or if I'm actually getting a pay raise, or whatever it is, right? So usually we do have a default reaction that is not very positive because we are not excited. We are more fearful and afraid that something bad might happen in the conversation. So all our belief system, depends obviously on where we're raised, what our parents believed, what our teachers believed, the friends we're hanging out with. And it's all formed at around the age of 7. And then what happens, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff goes into the subconscious. So we are judging situations on a level of experience we are having or that we took on from our parents, for example. And we talked about that in the Variety Friday, where I dove into the power system. I believe that was the second Variety Friday we had. That should be then episode number 6. So where we actually spoke about the beliefs and the belief system and, where the beliefs are coming from the past in regards to sales, and that also sometimes you have beliefs that you didn't even come up with. Somebody else passed on to you and you just took them in as your truth. So it's really, really important that you make sure that the right thoughts are coming into your mind, because all successful people, wherever they are in the world, whatever they do, with whatever they are successful, they have a good self-talk. And I'm quite sure they're all improving all the time as well. So today I want to really get your attention around the self-talk, because if you are not in your life where you want to be, it is probably your self-talk, the thoughts you are allowing in your head that sabotage you. Because every event that happens in your life, no matter what it is actually something neutral. It just happened. But then you give the event a thought, you give the event a meaning, and that thought produces an emotion, and that emotion produces an action. So if it's a fearful thought, it's going to be a fearful emotion, and with that fearful emotion, you probably will have a fearful action you take or something you don't take, which was an opportunity you didn't go for. And then when you think about it positive, you feel wonderful. So the positive thought gives you wonderful emotions. And these wonderful emotions obviously lead to different actions than a fearful thought. So really have a look at where you are sabotaging yourself. Because that's what it all comes down to. And we can actually train our thoughts. We can make sure that we only think the best thoughts we can come up with. And so the thought basically will determine how we feel. And then it's kind of a habit as well. So we have our default reactions and we have our things that get triggered, and then we always stay kind of in that loop, which means if we don't change our thoughts, we will not have a different outcome. So let's just go to the practical part and see it in a sales conversation that you are having. So you could be the person that's totally excited, that is so looking forward to the conversation, that just can't wait to work with the client, that already knows, well, if I get to talk to the person, I am quite sure they will work with me, and then we can create amazing things. So that's actually one kind of a person. But maybe you are the other kind of a person that goes like, well, I'm not quite sure if they want to book. I'm not quite sure if I have what they need. I'm not quite sure if they like me enough to pay that much money. So you see, it's like it's a total different energy that you have. And I actually created sales journaling prompts, and I'm just going to give you some examples so you can see what you might be saying to yourself and how you can turn it around. So you could say, well, sales is hard. Okay. If you believe it strongly enough, I'm quite sure it will be. And you could just shift that and say, well, I now start to believe that sales is a lot of fun and can be super easy. You see, just sitting down and have those thoughts, maybe you want to repeat in your head with me, sales is hard. Do you feel that? Now versus I now decide or start to believe that sales can be a lot of fun and super easy. It's a whole different dynamic. And the event is the same. You're having a conversation with a potential client, but how you view it makes a difference in the world. So maybe you have some thoughts around your client, like maybe you think, well, what happens if they are not as awesome as I would like them to be? What happens if I offer them something and they don't want it because they don't need it? So like this is kind of fearful thinking. How about you think, well, my ideal clients, because that's the only kind of clients you're going for, right? My ideal clients are super awesome. No matter what I offer them, they want it, they need it, they buy it. See, it's a different dynamic. And then you can also say, well, I'm always of such great service to my clients, because you want to make sure that you are of the best service to your clients. I'm making offers with confidence. Why not? Tell yourself you're making offers with confidence. Then at least you give yourself permission to do so. You could also say, well, sales always sucks and it's like super hard for me. I'm just not a good salesperson. Well, you know what? That will be the truth. If you believe it, your client will believe it. So you could say, well, I now enjoy sales and it's super easy for me. I decide that I'm now a great salesperson and I make offers that are aligned to my core, right? Different dynamic. And also when you are in a scarcity mindset, you probably go for every person on the planet. Being really aware of who you want to serve is crucial to your success. Sit down, write out your ideal client avatar, like the person you would love to work with. And this is so super counterintuitive, and it took me a long time to wrap my head around it when I learned about it years ago, that I had to be super specific on one person I wanted to serve. And once I got that down, surprisingly, these people came into my life, and there was more than one person. So they have different names, and maybe you put like an age and they are a year older or a year younger. That doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to say is, if you're really, really clear and you have that self-talk that I attract my ideal client, and then you know who your ideal client is. Your ideal client has a name. You know what they do. You know what they feel. You know their age. You know their hobbies. So if you know everything about them, you can connect on such a deep level that it is already fun. So just allow yourself to enjoy that more, right? My job, or your job in this case, is just to make an offer. The job of your client is to decide if this offer moves them forward and if they want to go for it. So you probably tuned in to episode number 17 of last Variety Friday, where we talked about letting go of the outcome. Not of the goal, but of the outcome. If you haven't, go back to episode number 17 and listen in. So another good thing to say to yourself is, I always let go of the outcome. I'm not attached to what the client decides on my offer. The goal is still, you want to serve them, you want to take them to the next level if they qualify, but it's not your decision to make if they buy from you or not. So selling from my heart makes the client want to buy from me. I really love this one, because, selling from your head, just thinking about the money piece or like how you can grow your business, will have a lack in energy when you are in a conversation with your ideal client. So if you connect your head and your heart, you will be much better in making these offers with confidence. So I think I gave you quite some good ideas today about how to change your self-talk. It's really important that you are aware of all the thoughts you are thinking. So I'm just going to give you an exercise you can do. When you are in your next sales conversation, please try to observe your self-talk. What's going on? Are you judging the person? Are you trying to figure out if they're able to pay you and how they could pay you? Are you trying to figure out what kind of offer you are going to make? Like, where are you in your thoughts? And after the conversation, just sit down and take notes. And, after the 5th client, maybe you realize some patterns. Maybe you see where you really need to change your thinking, and maybe you're judging of the other person. And please understand, I've been guilty of that in the past. So it was really some work to get myself to a place where I was able just to be present and open to the possibility that the client, if it's my ideal client, books. Not to judge them, not to judge them where they are or where they are not, or why they are maybe weak or why they haven't done X, Y, that. Just being present and really helping the client to see the value you are giving. And you can do that when you have a really great self-talk. Right? When you go into the conversation and I am here to serve that person. I am going to stay in the present. I'm going to give my best in this conversation so they see what I have to offer and they can choose to work with me. Do you feel how that already changes the whole energy when you say that out loud? So please do yourself the favor, write down after each sales conversation, at least for the 5 conversations that are coming up next. And obviously you can continue that to 10, 15, 20. Really see if there is a pattern. And if you see a pattern, make a change in your thinking. I'm so grateful that you are here. I so appreciate you, and I'm so excited about your amazing sales journey. And I would love to know how you are creating your dreams. Make sure you leave a review, give the podcast a rating, leave some comments. And also, if you have any questions or comments you want to share with me personally, write me an email at info@christineschlonski.com. info@christineschlonski.com. And christineschlonski.com is the homepage where you find the show notes, the transcript, the tweetables, amazing magazine cover style designs for all the speakers. So you can share with your community if you wanted to. Just have a look and sign up for the webinar. The webinar is going to give you a lot of amazing free content and is going to show you how you could take it further if you wanted to, and what you can do right now, like right after watching the webinar, to feel much better about sales and to really go for your sales with confidence and fun, because sales is fun and sales is love. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. And I'm looking forward for you to tune into the next episode. Saying bye for now.